And it's better than sitting here watching TV or sitting here, you know, surfing the internet doing absolutely nothing. You know, I apply for jobs all the time that, you know, I see what happens now with the whole job thing is now it's been 3 years since I've worked, so I've been out of industry, and I mean, even though I have great credentials, technology moves fast, and I'm 43, so even though, you know, they can't say, oh, you're old and we don't, you know, we're looking for young people, you know, it's still a fact that happens, you know. So when you couple all these things with the fact that, you know, the coup de grace is that I'm a felon, man, I'm about the most, you know, and the bitch of it is, there's places that hire felons, like McDonald's and 7-Eleven, you know, whatever, but they won't hire me because I'm overqualified. And even if I go, even if I lie about my education or whatever, as soon I'm sitting down with this manager, and I mean, I tried it once. I'm sitting down with the guy. I can't be stupid. You know, and I mean, obviously the guy, I blew the guy away. He didn't. What the guy said was, you know what, you're not going to stick around here. He says, as soon as something better comes along, you're going to take it. I said, you know, that may or may not be true, but I still need a job. You know, I need to work, and I'll do the best I can for you. If something better should come along, you know, I may or may not leave, but doesn't the same hold true for you? Anyway. So, God, where the hell was I? I was talking about Roger, I guess, and about that time period, learning how to drive the 3 on the tree, and so those are pretty good times. I got this stupid tattoo on my hand, KNC, Kevin and Candy. I did that. Candy lived across the street from us there in Torrance, and you know, she was like my first love or whatever. I, being a moron, being the, you know, the person who's my uncanny inability to make a good decision is exceeded only by my ability to not follow the good ones that I do make. Anyway, during the time I lived in California, my mom and my mom came over and visited me a bunch of times. I went back to Phoenix several times. You know, my grandma would come over and visit. They took me to Disneyland and that kind of thing, you know. My grandparents were always active in my life, and you know, thinking now about how this video thing that I'm doing, I haven't mentioned my grandparents a whole lot, and they were just really a huge part of my life. We lived in a house that they owned and eventually, I guess, gave to my mom. But, I mean, they lived right around the corner from us, literally. We lived in a cul-de-sac. If the cul-de-sac wasn't there, my grandparents going through the cul-de-sac would have been about 4 houses away from us. But because we lived in a cul-de-sac, you had to go around the block to get to their house. But, and my great-grandmother lived right around the corner, right on the same block, you know, but just, she lived, let's see, the Coonses were here, and then the Herb and Corky, I can't think of their last name, Herb and Corky, and then my great-grandmother lived in the corner house right there, you know. Not sure where I was going with that. Oh, about how close you know, how integral a part of my life my grandparents were, and my great grandparents. At least on my mother's side. On my dad's side, I didn't know any of them. And the funny thing was, I found out later when I was an adult that my grandmother, I guess I thought she was dead. I really never thought about it, to be honest with you. Later, my dad moved to Phoenix, and I'll get into that. But and started hanging out with his mom, and I found out she lived there in Peoria, which is right outside of Phoenix. And never during my whole life did she ever make an effort to see me. And she lived, a half an hour drive from me, 20-minute drive from me. That's what kind of people they were. They're just the people on my dad's side of the family were just, with the exception of my Aunt Laverne, well, my cousin Reggie, and all of them. I mean, my Aunt Laverne and her kids, they're all great. They're great people, but anyway, so I'm living in California. Like I said, my mom and my grandma and whatnot, my great grandma, mom, my great grandmother, who we called mom. I know that gets confusing. Would come visit on a regular basis. I went back to Phoenix. I started doing drugs and whatnot. Actually got my first taste of growing pot then. I grew some pot in the backyard there at Roger's house, but it was California. It was the 1980, whatever. It's no big deal. It's no big deal today. It shouldn't be a big deal today. It's ridiculous that it is. I'm going to make another video on that, but I'm not going to make that a prime topic of this. But the fact that marijuana is illegal is it's a tragedy. It's criminal that it's illegal. So anyway, life goes on. Whatever. I'm not doing well in school. I never did do well in school because of, when I was in 7th grade, I finished all my high school requirements, and I felt like I shouldn't have to do this twice. So I didn't. Well, I did. I mean, I probably a bill collector. United States government. Hello?